Today's Mass reading. Friday, May 21, 2021. A reading from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 25 verse 13 to 21.
A few days later, King Agrippa and Bernice arrived at Caesarea to pay their respects to Festus. Since they were spending many days there, Festus discussed Paul's case with the king. He said, "There's a man here whom Felix left as a prisoner. When I went to Jerusalem, the chief priests and the elders of the Jews brought charges against him and asked that he be condemned. I told them that it is not the Roman custom to hand over anyone before they have faced their accusers and have had an opportunity to defend themselves against the charges. When they came here with me, I did not delay the case, but convened the court the next day and ordered the man to be brought in. When his accusers got up to speak, they did not charge him with any of the crimes I had expected. Instead, they had some points of dispute with him about their own religion and about a dead man named Jesus who Paul claimed was alive. I was at a loss on how to investigate such matters, so I asked if he would be willing to go to Jerusalem and stand trial there on these charges. But when Paul made his appeal to be held over for the emperor's decision, I ordered him held until I could send him to Caesar."
Responsorial Psalm.
The Lord has established his throne in heaven.
Praise the Lord, my soul. All my inmost being, praise his holy name. Praise the Lord, my soul, and forget not all his benefits.
The Lord has established his throne in heaven.
For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is his love for those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us.
The Lord has established his throne in heaven.
The Lord has established his throne in heaven, and his kingdom rules over all. Praise the Lord, you his angels, you mighty ones, who do his bidding.
The Lord has established his throne in heaven. The Gospel according to Apostle John, chapter 21 verse 15 to 19.
When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. Very truly, I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted, but when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me."
On this, the third time that Jesus appeared to his disciples, Jesus enters into a threefold discourse with Peter. Each time that Jesus asks Peter if he loves him, Peter responds that he does. And Jesus responds back each time, "Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, and feed my sheep." The Gospel concludes Jesus' discourse with Peter using very powerful language. Jesus tells Peter that when he grows old, someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. This was Jesus' way of saying to Peter that he would ultimately express his love of Jesus by dying for him. As we know, tradition states that Peter was ultimately crucified. And at Peter's request, he was crucified upside down because he felt unworthy of dying in the exact same way Jesus died. As we consider this conversation between Jesus and Peter, it is clear that Jesus' understanding of love is very different from the way many others understand it today. Jesus was not only telling Peter that he would die for Jesus, But Jesus was clearly offering his approval of this act of love Peter would one day offer. Most often when we love someone, we would do all we can to keep them from any such fate. In fact, when a loved one suffers, we often will do all we can to look for a way to relieve them of that suffering. So which approach is most loving? Clearly, Jesus sees suffering differently than most of us. For Jesus, suffering is not opposed to love when the suffering is freely embraced for a higher purpose. Suffering in and of itself is of no value. But when suffering is embraced sacrificially out of love for another, it is able to take on tremendous power. And when Jesus offered his clear support to Peter, who would one day die out of love for Jesus, Jesus was focusing upon the eternal merit that would be won by Peter's cross. The fact that Jesus did not shy away from Peter's future sacrificial suffering is one of the clearest signs of Jesus' more perfect love for Peter. Reflect, today, upon your attitude toward the sufferings that your loved ones endure. Do you find that your primary goal is to rid them of their sufferings? Or do you understand that even their sufferings have the potential to become a source of their own holiness and the source of grace for others? Strive to see suffering as Jesus sees it. Look at the sacrificial love that is made possible when your loved ones unite their sufferings to the cross of Christ, and try to commit yourself to the mission of helping them embrace that sacred gift of love.
My most compassionate Jesus, in your great love for us all, you desire that we unite our sufferings to your cross so that all suffering shares in your redemptive love. Give me the grace I need to not only embrace my own sufferings in life out of love for you, but to also help those whom I love to live sacrificially by embracing the crosses they carry out of love. Jesus, I trust in you.